Hey everyone, Dr. Tordiquitz here, and this is your Monday Office Moment. Today's topic, we're going to talk about the hierarchy. And basically, we had a call about a week ago with our clients, and it was a group call. And one of the topics that came up was basically a front desk person who, when her assistant had walked away, like all of a sudden she's got to manage all these things. You got to make sure a tip of the week is handed out. Maybe got to make sure you're making an appointment for the person in front of you, making sure that you greet the person who walks in, making sure that you answer the phone, making sure that you have, the person who's coming back up to the front desk that they've already paid and they're ready to go. Now, obviously there's some automated things that we can do here, but it really brought us into this conversation about having a hierarchy, having a system in place so that your staff knows what to do when, right? And so what's the order? This is what I would call prime time. So what's the order of importance? If I'm standing at the front desk and somebody's calling and somebody's standing in front of me and somebody just walked in the front door and somebody just got done getting adjusted, somebody wants to buy supplements and somebody wants to do this or that and the other, what am I supposed to do when all that is happening? And what's so important about this is that if you don't have a plan for this, then ultimately this becomes a capacity block for your business. And so we have to have a plan for what to do when in this situation. What's the hierarchy here? What's the system? What's the organization that I need to follow through here in order to really master taking care of people when this happens? What to do when, essentially. And then as you have this discussion, you got to start looking at other areas. Doctor, what's your hierarchy? What do you do when you're not adjusting? Okay, I just finished up adjusting and maybe there's no new patient right now, no reported findings, and so I have this 15-minute block. What do I do? Are you going and sitting down and looking at your computer and checking text messages, or are you sitting down and you're going, okay, so what do I have to do? What is the system I need to go through? Right now, I just got done adjusting. I need to go ahead and make sure that I do my notes, get all my notes done. When my notes are done, I need to do Project X. This has been our priority this week. I need to go ahead and dive into Project X. And then, okay, well, Project X is done. What's the next thing I'm going to do? What's the next thing I'm going to do? What is it? Do you have a system? Do you have an organization for the things that you're doing? Do you understand what happens when? And so you look at this across the board, not just your front desk person. And this is what they're supposed to do. What do they do in prep time? All of a sudden, there's no new patient, no reported findings, and we're not going to have patients scheduled until our next prime time, which is in a half hour. What are they doing? They should be making recalls. They should be making reminder calls. They should be making verification calls for new patients for the following day. What is it that they're supposed to be doing? Now, for many people, this becomes basic, but here's the problem. Basic starts to fall off because we become led by distraction. All of a sudden, maybe we had a discussion in a team meeting and somebody said, oh, I'm going to look into that today. So now all of a sudden that dives into a prep time. Or is your staff allowed to be on the computer? And I don't mean just making appointments. I mean surfing the internet and looking for things there. There has to be a system here that's in play so people know what they're supposed to be doing. In prime time, when we're super busy, here's the order of importance. In prep time, when there's nobody in the office and we have an opportunity to prepare for the next round of patients coming in, or when a new patient comes in, a reported findings come in, there needs to be this order, this sequence of doing things. And when you do this, you start to remove capacity blockers and you start to open up your ability to see more people without adding hours. You can see more people without adding doctors, without adding staff, when you start to have this sense of organization throughout your business. So take a look at this across the board. Doctors, take a look at it from when you're seeing patients, when you're not seeing patients, from the time you get to the office in the morning. What's the order, the sequence that you follow so you know everything is getting done and you're prepared? What do you do at the end of the day? What's the hierarchy at the end of the day of the things that you need to get done before you walk out of the office? If you take this one thing right now and you brainstorm it for yourself, doctors, for yourself, and you sit and work on this with your team, by the end of the next week to 2 weeks, you are going to have a very, very well-oiled machine working for you. Now, you also have to continually review it to make sure that maybe nothing else popped in, or make sure that people are following the hierarchy and following through on things, and troubleshooting is going to come up along the way as well. So if you do this, this is going to really help with efficiency. And the more efficient we are, think about this, the more efficient you are, the less energy you're using. The less energy you're using on tasks that shouldn't be daunting. They shouldn't be exhausting, which means I can put more energy into my patients, more energy into my business, more energy into my team, more energy into my life. Oh, now we have the transition. So now you have to turn around and go, oh man, look at my life. Where in my life do I need to have this hierarchy? A morning routine. You get up in the morning, you have this morning routine. What's the hierarchy of that morning routine? Are you paying attention to it, or are you just checking boxes in the morning to get something done? What do you do at night before you go to bed? Is there a hierarchy when you go to bed at night? Is there a system that you have in play that says, here's what I'm gonna do to get my head in the right place before I go to bed, to make sure I have a restful night's sleep? If you have stuff on your mind, you're not gonna get a restful night's sleep. Maybe you have to start journaling before you go to bed. Make sure you do affirmations. We always do one affirmation my boys love that we all do together is, I dream sweet dreams. We do that as we're falling asleep at night. Super cool. We also meditate in bed. It's a part of our system of what it is that we do. So you look at it in a business and you go, oh, that makes total sense. Imagine if you were doing this in your life. Lunchtime, so many people are led by, I gotta hurry and get this done at lunchtime. What would happen if at lunchtime you actually had hierarchy, a system in play that said, here's what I'm gonna do every day at lunch so that I can, one, enjoy my lunch. I remember Deepak Chopra said years ago, just as important as what you eat is the frame of mind you're in while eating it. So if you're eating lunch and working at the same time, you're not in a good frame of mind. So you have this system in play that says, I am going to sit and eat, or I'm going to journal first the successes of my morning and what I want to look towards in the afternoon, what I want to improve. I'm going to journal that real quick. I'm gonna take a deep breath and I'm gonna go eat lunch. And then after lunch, I'm gonna go for a walk so I can just decompress and let it all out. And then I'm gonna sit down and I'm gonna get 15, 20, or 30 minutes of maybe personal work done on myself, maybe run an errand, whatever it is that you wanna do there. I don't know, but make sure it powers you up. I love, like, after lunch being able to do something like gratitude, meditation, things like that, that just help to get me reframed for a strong and powerful afternoon. Then I go back into the office and boom, we gotta have a team meeting. What's the hierarchy there? So you can see this is across the board: breakfast, lunch, dinner, office, when you get there, when you leave for lunch, when you come back, when you leave at the end of the day, when you go home. There's a system you can have in play that doesn't make you rigid. It doesn't make you, keep you from being spontaneous. What it does is it helps you to manage your energy. And if you're managing your energy, it means you'll have even more energy at the end of the day instead of less. You won't feel exhausted. You'll actually feel fired up and ready to go. So give this a shot today. It's worthwhile. Just one, you sit down and you brainstorm for yourself. Look at all these areas and just brainstorm, write it down, see how it looks. You might want to put it on an Excel spreadsheet. Maybe you can give yourself some check marks throughout the course of the day. I don't know how you want to do it, but I do know that it needs to be written down and created. Once it becomes created, I want to now make it a habit, which means I do need to check in on it daily, check the boxes, make sure I'm doing what I said I did. At the end of 30 to 60 days, and you start hitting that 90-day mark, you have created a new system of habits that are allowing you to have more energy, end the day stronger, and get more done in less time. I'd say that's a pretty good thing. So roll up your sleeves, get to work. Dr. Troy Dukowitz here, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.